Hello everyone. So I'm here today with my digital child Benny to record a response to Spore's prompt, how do you name your dolls? And I have to apologize for my voice. I've just tried to record this like 12 times now, but it hasn't been going too well. So I'm sorry in advance if my voice keeps going. Yeah. But anyway, how I name my dolls, I actually have two processes. One I have apparently been using more than others, which so the first one is that I name my dolls after things that are important to me or have been important to me in the past, like fandom stuff, things like that. Like for instance, my Soon Sard and Soon Io are named Forever and Solar, based off of the literal translation of the German titles of Tokyo Hotel songs. For a long while there, Tokyo Hotel was like a big part of my life. Like I was like deep in that fandom, and it actually was for the most part like a great time for me. They helped me get through a lot of things. Like their music got me through a lot. The people I met got me through a lot. Especially since it was just a hard time for me at, at the time I got introduced to them. I ended up actually leaving that fandom because they went on a hiatus that ended up being like years. Like it's still technically going, even though they are like slowly coming back, and there's probably going to be an album at the end of this year, possibly next year. But this hiatus has been stretching out for I believe like 3 or 4 years now, and and the fandom kind of yeah it has been through because Humanoid came out in 2009. Um, and they toured after that, so there was still stuff going on. So it has been about since 2010, and the fandom just got super duper like crazy negative stories. There was stalking stuff going on. There was just rumors flying left and right. It got to the point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I left the fandom, but they never stopped. That part of my life never stopped being important to me. So that's why I chose to name them after Tokyo Hotel songs. It hit me one day while I was at work, and I was like, I need to just go for it. And then I have Mr. Brightside, my Soom Savick, who his name, yes, is from a Killer song, but the reason why I did that is not particularly because like I absolutely love that song. I do love that song, but that's not, I actually named him Mr. Brightside because of my friend Paul. My friend Paul, he's been my friend since high school. I adore him. He's awesome. I consider him my best friend, my bestest forever friend. And he actually has a character named Steven, and I'll try not to give too much away because I'm super hoping that one day his work is out there for people to buy. But I love him and love everything about him and his alter ego. Um, and Mr. Brightside was his whole entire character was inspired by my friend's character, and the a big part of like the soundtrack for my friend's story is Between the Killers and Muse, and I couldn't like when I was looking through the Muse songs, I wasn't getting inspired for any names. Then suddenly I was looking through the Killer songs, and I just got completely inspired. I'm like, I need to name him Mr. Brightside. That'd be great. So that's how he got his name. And then of course I have Loki, which is super obvious. Don't have to go into that one too much. They have Gabriel, who is named after not again, named after a supernatural character. Oh my god. I'm getting mixed up with the other videos I've recorded. Oh god. So yes, I have Gabriel, who's named after a supernatural character because supernatural is a gigantic part of my life. I love that show. I have loved it since it started. Um, it's been through some ups and downs, I will say, but what show hasn't? But I adore it, and right now I have been like super into the fandom. Not like too hardcore because, again, whenever there's a hiatus on anything, people like flip out and like start like getting like way upset over random things. So I try not to be too deep into it right now because I don't want to get upset over things that I'm like, why am I even upset about this? But I still like very big part of my life, and I was like, I want to name him Gabriel. So I went with that. Same with him, actually. His first name being Benjamin. One day I was like, I just started like thinking about Benny from Supernatural, and I was like, I want to be able to call him Benny, but I don't want that to be his actual name. So that's why I named him Benjamin for his first name. His other two names, because his full name is Benjamin William Anderson. William is actually Tom Hiddleston's middle name, so that's kind of like a homage to him. And then Anderson actually was a way for me to sneak Sherlock in there somewhere. Even though I hate Anderson as a character, I wanted to be sneaky about it without like giving him the last name like Watson or Sherlock or anything. So yeah, and like Anderson went with the other two names. So so that's where I get a lot of my names. I mean, I have like Bonnie and Clyde. That's obvious, and I get like from things that have been important to me, things that I'm fascinated by. Like I'm fascinated by the whole Bonnie and Clyde thing, even though I don't even know why. I know that sounds super silly, but I've always been fascinated with it. So that's where I get the bulk of my names, especially for my characters that aren't vampires. Now, my characters that are vampires, I actually have a naming system for them that does require definitely websites for it. So unfortunately, I can't be as inventive with their names, but I do try my best because with the naming system, there's actually the first 26 vampires all changed their names to correspond with the letter of the alphabet they, going down in the line. So of course A would be the most powerful, going down to Z, who you would call them the least powerful, but amongst the 26 he's a little different, but that's would take super long to explain. But basically, everyone who comes from their direct bloodline um, has to change their name to correspond to the letter, so that people know instantly what bloodline you're in, what you can provide, what your mental state might be in. For instance, to be vampires, down starts with Behemoth, and down her bloodline, even though it gets more diluted on the way down, there's like a mental sickness that passes through her bloodline and unfortunately affects everybody. So naming yourself, after, with a B name, they know, how to treat you with caution. So, yeah, so there's things like that. And most of the time the names are given to the vampires by who sired them. So that kind of limits me in a way because I can't just be totally adventurous with their names. At least for me, I have to base their names off what I think their sires would name them. Like, for instance, Bella and my incoming Bellevue, they're made by a guy named Bastion, who um, thinks they're absolutely beautiful. So he was very uninventive with their names because he would be. So that's why I was like, I can't name them something like way off the map because he wouldn't do that. He would name them something very simple and literal, and there you go. So with them, luckily their names came quite easily, but like in the case of Carlot, someone I don't have in doll form, probably never will because he'd probably be hard to find. But one of his sons, so to speak, I had to go on the internet and look under French names because he is French. And like I looked down the category for C until I just found the name that Carlot would give this character I had thought of. And that is definitely what I have to do for those. And like it sucks because like I would love to be adventurous with it, but I like to stick to character as much as I can. So that requires definitely me doing a lot of internet searches through name guides, and I'm very happy that those resources are available. But I always feel like not like I'm cheating, but like I'm taking the easy way out when I do that. I know this sounds dumb, but I like to just sit and like be like, okay, this person is like this. I give them this name. But I can't do that with the vampires. Not, I mean, I could, I definitely could just go screw it and do it that way, but it just wouldn't sit well with me. I have to go with what their sires would name them, even if I think I could do better. So yeah, I hope that all made sense. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of for how I name my dolls. I'm inspired by music, people I know, shows I love, etc. And then like for vampires, I have to cheat, go on the internet. So yeah, that is all for now, and I can't wait to see more responses to this prompt, and I can't wait to do responses to some past prompts that I've been really want to answer, but haven't had either the time or I've tried to answer it and it's gone worse than how it's been to record this one. So yes, I will work on that. So till later, everyone. Thank you if you watched. I'll talk to you later. Bye.